Welcome to today's episode of Chapapa TV, and I'm Tik Tok. Let me tell you why. You know, it's gonna be one of those episodes when I have to pour up before I start talking. I got into my first car accident here in the Dominican Republic. I know, I'm okay. My car, not so much. But I have full coverage and insurance. That's good for something, right? You get what you pay for. In this case, no. It wasn't my fault. I was turning, coming off the street of where I live, and the car stopped for me to make the turn, and the motorcycle went around the other side, and just, luckily for him, I wasn't speeding. I wasn't driving out of control like how they normally do out here. But let's get into it. I got full coverage. I pay about maybe $140 a year. My car, just a little Nissan Altima, whatever. The guy was at fault. It was a moto. I hit a moto. And for those of you who've been down here to the country, you know how the motorcycles drive with no regard for human life.
No regard for human life!
It's like you're just playing Grand Theft Auto and you get hit on a motorcycle, you get up, you up, L on R2, whatever, and then you're fine. That's no exaggeration. So this guy basically cut me off, hit me, hit his leg. Luckily for him, I was just speeding. First thing that will happen is they will try to blame you. Unless it's downright obvious they were at fault, they will still try to blame you. But if it's downright obvious they were at fault and you have witnesses, you'll be fine. Whole street full of witnesses. I went super slow, had a witness in my car, and you know, the people were just there, like, you know, oh, is he gonna leave? Nah, I'm not gonna leave. You call the ambulance, call 911, explain to them what was going on. Here, 911 takes a little bit time to show up. And I'm not talking about the police, I'm talking about the ambulance. I would say it took about 20 minutes for the ambulance to show up. Dude was okay, hit his leg, a little bit of, you know, bone. I don't want to get into the grimy details, but you know, he did hit a car, speeding on his motorcycle while I wasn't speeding. Same day, went to the Fiscalia, filed the report, got the police report. The police took down my story, what happened, this and that. They give you this lawyer that's covered by your insurance. That's not paid for. That's a good thing about, you know, I guess having full coverage. And basically they give you a date when you and the dude show up in front of the Fiscalia, the judge. She hears both stories, determine who's at fault, and determine who has to pay. That's great for me, right? No. Now, I gotta go through his insurance. His insurance to cover my damages. Yeah, I have a 10,000 peso deductible, so what? Maybe nothing for those of you who live down here, depending who you are. But for me, if it's not my fault, I don't wanna have to cover for that. Requirements from the other guy's insurance, the moto that hit me, because you know I wasn't at fault. And that's the thing about driving here in the Dominican Republic. Gotta be on your P's and Q's and the rest of the alphabet. Me being from New York, I learned how to be an aggressive / defensive driver. But most of the time I hear you're gonna have to kind of decide how to do both at the same time. You gotta be aggressive with the cars, but defensive with the motos. Because like I said, these guys drive like they have 9 lives and they're in the car, they're invincible, no helmets. But anyways, and basically they're asking me for the official police report, original cotizaciones de pieza, I guess all the pieces that were damaged and whatever, and the VIN number of the car, pictures of the car, copy of the title, copy of the ID of the person who's on the title, this, half of your family under a full moon on a Saturday, just a whole bunch of nonsense. So this accident happened August 7th. Today is Thursday, September 16th, and my car is still the same. Still the same. They said it will take 2 weeks for the pieces to get down here, and it hasn't. Car accident here in the Dominican Republic, the DR, and it's not your fault. You have full coverage. You got full insurance. So why is it taking me so long to get my car fixed? Did everything right, paid my insurance on time, brought it to the places, and is full coverage really needed down here? My honest answer, who knows? Who knows? Because deductibles are cheap, you know, for guys that come down and live down here. Mine is 10,000 pesos, full coverage, deductible. Why wouldn't I pay it? And that's just been me. Any car accident that isn't my fault and I've yet to be in a car accident that isn't my fault, I always wait for the other insurance to cover it. Is that a bad habit that I need to shake from living down here? Maybe. But still, I don't care. You get what you pay for. I pay for full coverage, but in this case, I ain't getting what I'm paying for. So my advice to you, if you're gonna live down here, be mindful of the insurance. Be mindful of motos. Be mindful of other cars. Be mindful of dogs, cats, flooded streets. It's just so much that goes on to driving down here in the Dominican Republic. But my issue with the payment is I wasn't at fault. And my car still isn't fixed. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but it goes out to anybody who needs advice or who's just curious of the process of getting into an accident here. Like I said, people get into accidents here and leave immediately. But if you're that kind soul, if you're that guy like me who's just like, this wasn't my fault, but let me stick around and see what happens, get full coverage insurance, because I guess full coverage insurance sounds better than half coverage, even though they both kind of work at the same speed. Who knows? Go figure. But that's all for today's episode. What happens if you get into a car accident here in the DR? Catch you guys later.